Quantum Computing Incorporated is on a mission to accelerate quantum computing for real-world business solutions. And with me is Rob Liscouski, the CEO of Quantum Computing, and Hunter Gaylor, who's going to be co-hosting with me on this interview. And so let's just start, Bob, with just tell us a little bit about the quantum chip and bring us up to date with what the company's been doing since last time we talked.
It's great to be back. I know you had Bill McGann in the last segment that we did this, and Bill kind of went deep into the technology. And I want to kind of bring it back up to talking about the company a little bit more and telling you about what we're doing. So since we last met, we launched our subscription service to our Dirac entropy quantum computer. So the public now, or paying customers, actually have access to the quantum computer via the web. And we're actually executing on some contracts with that right now. I think we announced the Rabobank contract during Bill's time here. And we're marching down that path, right? So we're actually commercially in the marketplace today, and we're executing on that. But we've also begun to roll out some other applications besides just the quantum computing piece, which I'm sure we'll be talking about today.
Yeah.
Well, and one of those, you mentioned Rabobank in the past, and Bill talked about that.
Right.
That's cybersecurity. So there's a huge play for marketability. Can you talk to where your company is in launching applications in the cybersecurity space?
Yeah, you bet. In fact, with Rabobank, we're actually doing fraud detection. So it's a different form of cybersecurity. It's actually looking at transactions to be able to determine if they're fraudulent or not. And they do, millions of transactions. So it's got to be done quite robustly. On the cybersecurity piece, what's really interesting, it's got applications across the spectrum of domains, right? Not just fintech and financial applications, but it's got infrastructure implications to it, general business uses to it. So there's a lot of different ways that cybersecurity, as we know, it's a very topical thing, impacts our daily life. Quantum technologies are going to be able to make that life so much more secure than what we're currently doing today. And arguably, we are doing that. We're just launching off our cybersecurity product, which is going to enhance that capability. It's actually going to bring quantum technologies into the cybersecurity space.
Wow. And quantum sensing, we talked a little bit about quantum sensing last time. Can you talk to a little bit about where that's going to fit into the market?
Let me just kind of cap off on the cyber side. I believe from a company standpoint, that's really going to make our mark in the commercial space today. I think the cyber piece of this is going to be huge because of just the vulnerabilities we have. But equally as opportunistic for us, or at least an opportunity, not necessarily opportunistic, is moving into the sensing space and applying quantum technologies to things like medical imaging. Being able to use low power to do what X-rays can do today, or CT scans. You'll be able to do that with our quantum imaging technology, effectively using a LiDAR type of technology. And there's other types of sensing technologies. So we talk about LiDAR for autonomous vehicles or for a whole myriad of uses. But the most popular one that people think about is of course the autonomous driving vehicles, and being able to see further, more fidelity around the imaging, better speeds, acquisition of the image in front of you and processing that information. That's all quantum photonics or quantum LiDAR capability powered by photonics. Other types of imaging and sensing types of capabilities we have that we're going into the marketplace with are the ability to determine stress fractures or weaknesses in metals, for example. So we have something called a vibrometer, which can actually at distance determine the weaknesses in a bridge. So for infrastructure applications, this would be a great technology. Of course, where I came out of with Homeland Security, it was all about infrastructure. And the road infrastructure or aircraft wings and things like this, those types of infrastructures they fail, and the more we can get insight into them, obviously the safer they can be.
Yeah.
And some other corporate development that we read about is your random number generator, or your quantum random number generator. Can you talk a little bit about, walk us through what that is and what the potential market applications are for something like that?
So that's I'd say our first, outside of our computational capability, our Dirac, that's our first real product in the quantum space, outside of our computational capability. A quantum random number generator. So random number generators have been around for a long time, right? And they're used for security, they're used for simulations in the financial markets and the risk management markets, but they're not really random. There's a pseudo component to that. So pseudo random number generators still do a great job in the marketplace today. but they reach their limit. So for folks who are really doing, the hardcore financial analysis that's going on, developing simulations on financial modeling, need to have true random number generators. And with our quantum capability, we've developed a truly random quantum random number generator. That number will never repeat in our lifetime.
Oh, wow.
So it may not mean anything to the average individual, but to the people who are really, like I said, in the simulations market, risk management in cybersecurity or in encryption, it really is very meaningful. Yeah. So we're an entrant in that marketplace. It's a big market. I'm not going to make my company's business around this, but clearly it's a great opportunity for us to get into the marketplace.
It kind of sounds like something like a casino would use, like
exactly.
Gaming.
Right, gaming, exactly.
Brokerage firms.
That's a perfect application for it. So anywhere you have these sort of randomness types of events, they have to be generated by something that a random number generator is really predicated on.
Yeah, the casinos, the house is now really always going
That's right, that's right. Or it becomes more fair.
Right, or it becomes, there you go, that's
interesting.
That's
now, about the Dirac entropy quantum computer.
Yes.
Explain that, and how does that give an edge?
So we've talked a little bit about quantum computing. I know Bill went into it pretty deeply, probably the last time he was here. But we talked about the differences. So our competitors, such as the IBM, they're going for gate model computers using superconductive. They have to be in a pristine environment. That's why they have to be really virtually absolute zero. The atoms have to be frozen. There's a big investment in maintaining that infrastructure so you can do the calculations. And there's a lot of error correction that has to go on just because of the way the calculations go. Because they don't want to have any noise, right? Conversely, with photonics, noise is our friend. We need a noisy environment. The entropy in the environment is what powers the quantum computing aspects of what we do. So that therefore allows us to be room temperature in a very scalable device using wall plug, 110 volt power, and we use less than 80 watts of power to do our computations. So comparing the two just at that level is pretty interesting. However, what we're already doing that they can't do, and frankly nobody else is doing, is doing large scale problems. So we can do 11,000 qubit problems, 11,000 variables today, right? Non-error corrected, because there's no error correction required. So 11,000 qubits to us is 11,000 qubits. Whereas in the classical, the gate model computer, 100 qubits might be 1 or 2 or 10 error corrected qubits. So it gives us that capability of being able to do much bigger problems, more complex problems today. And that's exactly what we've launched.
Can you highlight, based on that information, where you are in the market? What are some potential milestones that you think that your company can reach? And whether that's the commercially viable applications that you spoke about, or some potentially strategic partnerships, governments, large corporations. Talk to us a little bit about where you think that's going to go? Yeah,
so since we've done the acquisition, we've moved very aggressively into the marketplace, and we've become a full stack quantum computer, as I've mentioned before. What that enables us to do is to be not just a computing company, but in applications, a quantum applications and solutions company. So we have a very diverse portfolio that we can go into the marketplace with, and that's exactly what we're doing today. So I mentioned some of the sensing technologies. Those are applications that we're moving into the marketplace today for sale. Right? So, the milestones you talk about, right? So it'd be great if we could sell this, some of these applications to the federal government, particularly on the cybersecurity side. You can imagine that places like, Homeland Security and other, agencies that are dealing in very sensitive information would want to have those types of encryption capabilities. Similarly, banks would want the same thing. So for me, making a sale to a large bank for our cybersecurity capability the next year would be a great milestone. Getting government contracts. Clearly we've set up a government subsidiary that we can just do government-only work, because that's the way the government works. They want to make sure that they have a sort of a clean organization they can do business with, and by that I mean one that can really stand up to all the requirements the government has to meet their security requirements. So we have a government subsidiary for that. That allows us to be able to sell to the government. So imagine this year for us, a major milestone would be at least 1 or 2 federal contracts that would be able to go either for the entropy quantum computer or one of the applications. The LiDAR would be very interesting for us to be able to get into the government. So there's a number of applications there. So I see us being fully pointed in the commercial space and also focused on the government space. So we're really diversifying in the area. I think we're going to have a very good year for us in terms of the commercial applications and getting the quantum technologies in the commercial space.
And this definitely sounds like it could be a very pivotal year for the company and for quantum computing in general, for the technology.
So it's, if I may, just to kind of build on that point, so the marketplace has really turned around. There was some skepticism about quantum computing, and I still think there's some laggards out there, folks who don't believe that they're really, quantum computing is going to be real. But more and more folks we're talking to are less concerned about the technology and more concerned about the results. They're buying into the fact that quantum computing is actually going to deliver results that they can't get out of traditional computing. And once they cross that Rubicon, there's just no going back, right? They know they can do something better, they can get better results with it, and that's what they're expecting, and that's exactly what we're delivering.
Well, and has there ever been a technology where there haven't been skeptics in the beginning?
No, never.
So, I mean, you can't.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bob, thank you so much. Hunter, thank you as well.
Thank
so
you,
interesting.
Thank you,
Thanks for the update.
I appreciate it.